Hey everyone, Casey aka TheRealMegaMiner here, back with episode 7. This episode is going to be a time-lapse, and I'm going to share another one of my McDonald stories. As you can see, I started mass-producing a lot of the banners again, and started putting them all over the town, and I finished up the wall that will, surround the farm, kind of. There's not going to be a wall over there, but as you can see, I laid this down, and that's where the ravine is. Side note, while I was working on this, I fell down and lost a good 30 levels or so. Got all my items, but as you can see, we're back to level 7, which sucks a lot. Yeah, do you think the banners are overkill a bit? I don't know, it might be. Just let me know down in the comments. Other than that, we're pretty much going to get straight into the story. Alright, so this is the second story in what has been going on as my McDonald stories whenever we have a montage or time-lapse sort of episode, because it'd just be way too boring, but I still want to show you guys what's going on around the town. So if you're new to the series or you're not quite caught up, in episode 2 I did the story called Chocolate Fountain, but the actual episode was named something like Wrecking Crew. So if you want to go back and listen on that story on my Chocolate Fountain experience, go ahead and listen to that. But for today's episode, as we work on the farm in Swinmead, I will be sharing the story of the day that I became a racist. Racist being in quotes, of course. So the general sort of theme you should notice throughout all my stories is that they involve me getting embarrassed or humiliated in some shape or form, because it's really just like the story of my friggin' experience there, which, you know, makes for great stories, of course. But this should chronologically align somewhere with the Chocolate Fountain episode. It was still that time that I was trying to be a try-hard at my job and do really well and put on the best face possible, and then, of course, like I mentioned in the first story, your wants to continue putting up that facade dwindles as nobody else puts up a good show either. It's just kind of the general trend, really. If, like, everybody else is doing a bad job getting the same amount of money, then why not do it as well? So anyway, so it was the typical summer afternoon, probably about the lunch rush at maybe 1 o'clock. Pretty much all the main managers were there, along with a decent amount of friend employees that I had, not too many though, at that time. And I was doing running. So when you're running, that's where people in the front counter are taking orders and the money, and then you are filling the orders when they appear on the screen. So you get the fries, the sandwiches, things like that. Sometimes the drinks, not always. It really depends on what they order. So I was just doing that, and it was just the typical average day, let's say, okay? So what usually happens at McDonald's sometimes is people try and get more food than they actually have. Like, there's be certain situations where somebody rolls up and is like, hey, I didn't get this, and then you're like, well, when did you order it? And they're like, oh, it was a day ago. And then you have to ask, like, well, did you call in? They say no. Do you have your receipt? They say no. And then you're like, oh, well, we can't help you. And they just want, like, free stuff, basically, and then they drive off because it didn't work because they didn't have proof. Things like that at McDonald's happen a lot. Like, kind of in the same vein is, like, this guy comes up and he's like, along the line, I don't remember the details exactly, but he wants basically like a new fry or something like that. Again, this is a while ago, so I don't know exactly the details. So he wants like a new fry or something, but he's not saying he wants the old fry back or whatever, something like that. And I go to a manager and say, hey, there's this guy, but I specifically say there's this African-American gentleman who wants a new fry or something, but I don't know if he's like trying to steal. I said those like pretty much exact words, which is like 6 feet away from him, because I'm like bending down at the ice cream machine. He's at the front counter. So that was like #1 problem right there. So they're like, oh, just get it to him anyway. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'd go over and get the fry. So the guy, I understand why he did it. Like, he must have thought that I was like some kind of racist who was like, oh, black people are just trying to steal fries in my McDonald's, things like that. No, I don't care what kind of race or person you are. Like, you know, I'm just trying to prevent like stupid people from being stupid. And this guy, like, probably understandably just wanted some like new fries or whatever. So I go over and get the fry, and then he mistakes me for like being like what I just said. So then I give him the fry, and then he's like, sir, can I ask you something? Something like that. So he's like, hold out your hands. So me being dumb and naive, I'm like, okay, I'll hold out my hands. And then he takes the small fry, tips it, pours it into my hand, puts his hands over my hands, and then just rubs my hands in the small fries and looks at me with like extreme disdain. And I'm just there like, what the frick is going on? Of course, I then pretty much just like have a complete meltdown after that. The guy like walks away and goes sits down, and I'm still trying to be like professional, whatever. I like go and put the fries in the garbage to go wash my hands, and I'm like straight up about to cry. And so I like go to the back and stuff, and then talk with my manager, and that was just the worst experience I probably ever had there. Like, again, I understand why he did it. Of course, the extremes that he went to were not justified per se, but geez, that was so rough of a day. I kind of got over it in due time. There are always going to be people like that, but the point is, you shouldn't like mention people's race. It was just like being dumb on my part too. Like, you're like kind of asking for confusion in a way. But geez, yeah. That's my McDonald's story number 2. The day that I became a racist. And it only goes downhill from here. And I'll just mention that maybe for those who are asking, did he get in trouble? Did I get in trouble? Anything like that? No, not really. My manager, I think, said something along the lines of, oh, I would go talk to him, but he's with his family right now. And so there was no ever any kind of resolution or me explaining myself to him or him explaining to what he thought I said or anything. So really at the end of the day, I think both of us just like had just like crappy experience basically. And yeah, only gets worse from here. Hey everyone, it's Casey just post montage, and I just want to show you what the crops look like fully grown. I think it turned out really well. It's so beauteous around here. As you can see, we've got wheat that fills out this main section here. That'll be another entrance there. We got a big pumpkin patch. Over here we have carrots, and then down there we also have potatoes. Got that man-made waterfall that flows into the river, goes all the way down, falls into the ravine, and then I started planting a lot of trees, and there will be trees around here. And then next episode we'll probably make the farmer's house, as well as a few other things, but that's what the farm looks like. I think it turned out really well. Still gotta get those lily pads eventually, but let me show you what's been going on. A lot of people said yes to the moat, so I dug out a nice place for the moat. Probably do that next episode. Ended up attracting a rabbit and a pig on accident when I was having the carrots out. And then lastly, we finally have the map done, so now we can finally start to see what the town looks like. I took the redstone and some of the cows that I slaughtered because they had to be moved. As you can see, they're there now. We only have 2 compared to the like 30 that we had, but I slaughtered them, made some item frames, made some maps, and now this is what the town is starting to look like. So we have farm here, ravine there, keep, moat will be around here. There's the north, what is it called? Gate, gate, and then we have the digging site there. So yeah, that's what the town is starting to look like. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. Was definitely interesting for me to relive. And yeah, other than that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks so much. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or check out all the links on the screen now. Other than that, I'll see you next time.